Right. So today's question is, would you be able to explain what a mind palace is and whether or not you use one? If you do, then how can I develop my own mind palace? Well, a memory palace, or to give it its actual name, the method of Loki, it's been around for centuries because it works terrifically well. And I do use one, absolutely, every day. It's basically a mind trick from ancient Greece, and the idea came from a Greek poet named Simonides around 2,500 years ago. He was giving his speech at this banquet, and after he'd finished his speech, the entire building collapsed. So after surviving this building collapse that killed everyone else except him, Simonides was able to remember where each guest had been sitting, which helped identify them. So this experience showed him how linking memories to places could help recall information. So it became hugely popular in ancient Greece and Rome, especially amongst, speakers who used to have to remember their speeches. And in fact, it became part of education and rhetoric, a really important part of it. So how do you use it? Well, first of all, you have to pick a place that you know like the back of your hand. So your house or your childhood home or whatever. And this place is going to be your palace. And you think of it as a huge storage space where you store things that you want to remember. Now think of something that you need to remember, like, I don't know, a shopping list or parts of a speech. And for each thing that you need to remember, imagine placing it somewhere in your palace. So, for example, if you need to remember apples from your shopping list, you might imagine a giant, bright red apple sitting in your favorite chair. And believe it or not, the trick is to make these images as silly, bright, and strange as possible because our brains are really good at remembering things that stand out. Next, you need to take a mental walk through your palace, through all of the rooms. And as you move from one place to another or one room to another, you imagine seeing these items where you left them. And by linking each item to a different spot in your palace, you're creating a pathway of memories. So whenever you want to remember the information, you just take a walk through the palace in your mind and you find these items right where you imagined them in the first place. Now, it's really important that you always take the same route through your palace, especially at the beginning when you first start using the trick. Of course, after a while, when you get more used to it, you can then go straight to the room that you want and remember whatever it is you want to remember. Of course, the beauty of a memory palace is that you're using places that you already know really well. You're making it easier for your brain to go on autopilot, helping you to remember without actually feeling like it's a lot of work. And of course, the more you practice, the better you're going to get at it. And eventually, you'll simply start using it without thinking. I couldn't live without using memory palaces, to be quite honest with you. Now, of course, it's not like Sherlock Holmes, where you see a 3D rendering of your memory palace. That's for visual effect. Although I suppose the concept is pretty similar. But that'd be quite cool, wouldn't it? Anyway, I hope that answers your question.